All right, welcome back, people. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking to my buddy Jim Roguski. Jim, how are you, sir?
Dave, I'm doing great. This is going to be a real short one for people, who like to attend short attention span theater. March 13th, 2026 is the deadline for public comment with the Federal Aviation Administration here in the United States for, people around the world, quite frankly, because whatever goes up into the air, goes all around the planet and affects everybody, to comment on their plan to maybe at some point far off into the future remove lead from aviation gasoline. Now, that just to be clear, that's not jet fuel. That's a whole different story. But you and I are both old enough to recall that lead used to be in automobile and truck fuel, gasoline, and officially that got taken out. I think first day of 1996. But if you see a small Cessna type aircraft flying overhead, and maybe even some different types of helicopters and things like that, they are using leaded gas and they are spewing lead out their exhaust pipe, and it's falling down onto your community. Now, if you live near an airport, it's probably much worse. But long story short, the point is the deadline to comment is coming upon us pretty soon, about 3 weeks, March 13th, 2026. Now, I had an interesting little experience, and I published an article about this. This is actually a follow-up to it. They announced this public comment period on January 12th. I found out about it towards the end of January, and I clicked on the link to give a public comment, and it didn't go to the right place.
Hmm.
And now I managed to track down where it was supposed to go, but I reached out to the people at the FAA who were supposed to be the public contact people. And I said, hey, the notice in the Federal Register, the official way that you tell people that, you want public comment, you got a busted link.
Yeah.
And they replied quickly and said, oh, well, here's the right link. And I said, well, are you going to extend the period uh, that we get to comment? Okay. And no, they're not. They published a correction, but that doesn't help you if you go looking for it because you can't find the first one, you can't find the correction. So, I'm here to basically let everybody know, speak now or forever hold your peace. If you like lead raining down from the sky and being spewed out of small aircraft, to the tune of, I think it's 200 million gallons a year
Yeah.
is used. Okay. Now, this is just the United States, and whatever the United States does, the rest of the world might maybe sort of take their time and get around to doing. Um, but this isn't just the United States. Leaded gasoline for aviation is all around the world, and they could be flying a plane in China, and it could be falling down in California or Florida or wherever. And one of the interesting things about lead, and we talked about this a little bit in our previous video, I've actually worked with lead. I used to do construction and we would use lead flashing. If you recall, I think I
Yep.
mentioned this. If you put your hand on lead, it'll suck the heat right out of you.
It
Okay.
does. I remember that.
And
Yeah.
and they have found lead, microparticles in ice crystals in clouds. It's really great at making water freeze, given the right conditions, and can do a little bit to aggravate the cold weather that we're having. And so, long story short, Dave, thanks for the time. March 13th is the deadline. If people go to my Substack, jamesroguski.substack.com, look for the article, get the lead out, and speak now or forever hold your peace. Tell the government that you want them to do this as soon as possible.
James, thanks for all your research on this, and I'll drive people right over to your Substack and your website. Thanks again, brother.
Thank you.